You're listening to a production of the National Media Archive. To learn more or volunteer, go to nationalmediaarchive.com.
Almost all of us know we should donate blood, but most people don't do it as often as they could. Every year, close to 5 million Americans need blood transfusions. Many of them would not survive without this supply. Each day, about 32,000 pints of blood are used in the United States alone, mostly for people who lose blood during surgery or because of serious injuries. Others, like people living with conditions such as sickle cell anemia, depend on frequent transfusions throughout their lives just to stay healthy. The entire network that connects donors to patients is crucial for keeping sick or injured people alive. If we all had the same kind of blood, this system would be much simpler, but that's not the case. Some people have blood so rare that a single accident or surgery could be life-threatening because almost no donated blood in the world would match theirs. Imagine your blood was so rare that if you were hurt, only a handful of people could help. So rare that your identity has to stay hidden to stop constant requests for your blood. So rare that scientists dream of studying even a single pint of it. This is reality for people who have Rh-null blood, which is considered the rarest blood type in the world. Only about 43 people are known to have it. It's called Rh-null because it lacks every single one of the 61 Rh antigens that most people's red blood cells have. If you have Rh-null blood and you're injured, almost no other donor's blood is compatible. For most people, a serious accident is scary but treatable. For someone with Rh-null blood, that same accident could easily be fatal. You've probably heard about common blood types like O positive, AB negative, or A positive. These labels are part of two major classification systems, the ABO system and the Rh system. There are actually 33 recognized systems, but most of us only ever hear about these two. The ABO system groups blood based on the presence or absence of two antigens, called A and B. These are basically little protein markers on your red blood cells that help your immune system tell what belongs in your body and what doesn't, like viruses or bacteria. If you have type A blood, your cells have antigens and your plasma, the liquid part of your blood, has antibodies that attack B antigens. If you're type B, it's the opposite. Type AB has both A and B antigens and no antibodies against them. Type O has neither antigen, but has antibodies for both A and B when blood is donated. It's separated so only the red blood cells are passed along. This process is called blood fractionation, because giving someone the wrong antibodies could cause dangerous reactions. Your immune system naturally attacks any unfamiliar antigens, so if someone with type A blood gets type B blood, their anti-B antibodies will see the B antigens as invaders. This can cause the donated red blood cells to clump together and block small blood vessels. The immune system then destroys the new cells. This reaction is rare but serious and sometimes fatal. To avoid this, transfusions must match up so the recipient's blood doesn't contain antibodies that would fight the donor's blood cells. That's why people with AB blood are called universal recipients. They don't have either antibody that would attack A or B blood, but they can only donate to other people with AB blood. People with O blood are universal donors. They can give blood to pretty much anyone because their blood doesn't carry the A or B antigens that would trigger an immune reaction. The downside is that they can only receive type O blood themselves. But there's more to safe blood donation than just these antigens. This is where the Rh system comes in. The Rh system is the second major way of classifying blood. The key factor here is the D antigen. If your blood has the D antigen, you're Rh positive. If it doesn't, you're Rh negative. People who are Rh negative can only receive Rh negative blood, while those who are Rh positive can take either. Rh negative types are rarer than Rh positive ones. And the D antigen isn't alone. There are about 60 other Rh antigens, making this the largest blood group system. Even though we talk about 8 basic blood types, A positive, A negative, B positive, and so on, there are actually millions of variations when you look at all the possible antigen combinations on our red blood cells. Most extra antigens don't cause problems because almost everyone has them. For example, more than 99.9% of people have an antigen called VEL, but once in every 5,000 people someone is born without it. If that person were to get VEL-positive blood, their body would treat the VEL antigen as an enemy. This could lead to kidney failure and death. Doctors screen for as many of these rare factors as possible to match donors and recipients safely. But if your blood is unusual enough, finding a match can feel nearly impossible. And that's exactly the situation for people with Rh-null blood. Rh-null blood is so rare because it completely lacks every single one of those 61 Rh antigens. It's unusual enough to be missing just a few of them. Missing all of them is astronomically unlikely. Doctors sometimes call Rh-null golden blood because, for anyone who has a rare Rh variant, this type can be a universal donor. It can be used when no other blood will work, so it can save lives where other blood types would fail. But for people who have Rh-null, this uniqueness is also a burden. Most people assume that if they're hurt, they can get help quickly at the nearest hospital. But for someone with Rh-null blood, life feels more dangerous by default. If they need a transfusion, they can only get blood from one of the 42 or so other people known to have it. And not everyone with Rh-null is an active donor. Those who do donate are spread all over the world. So moving this precious blood around in an emergency is a logistical headache. Transporting blood is not simple. Blood stays usable for about 4 weeks and must be kept at 4 degrees Celsius, which isn't easy when shipping it halfway around the globe. Even a small delay at customs can make that blood unusable. On top of that, some countries don't allow blood to be imported from outside regions. For instance, the United Arab Emirates doesn't accept blood donations from anywhere except Gulf states. All these complications mean that for someone with extremely rare blood, an unexpected injury could quickly turn into a life-or-death scramble. For a Swiss man with Rh-null blood, this reality shaped his entire life. When he was a child, his parents wouldn't let him go to summer camp or play contact sports because any injury could mean no transfusion. As an adult, he can't visit countries without modern hospitals because if something goes wrong, there might be no way to get his blood type to him in time. To protect himself, he donates blood to himself twice a year. This creates a personal reserve in case he ever needs it. But he can't do it more than that because Rh-null blood can bring other health challenges. The Rh antigens that most people have helped keep the red blood cell membrane stable. Without these antigens, red blood cells can be more fragile and oddly shaped. They break down more quickly than normal, which causes something called hemolytic anemia. This condition can make you feel tired, short of breath, and lead to yellowing of the skin, jaundice. Because of this, people with Rh-null can't donate blood often without risking their own health. This puts an added responsibility on the tiny community of Rh-null donors. When someone with a rare Rh combination needs blood, those few with Rh-null are sometimes the only hope. They may get a sudden call to donate, no matter where they are or what they're doing. That same Swiss man once got a call to save a newborn baby's life. He had to take a taxi to Geneva and take time off work. In some parts of Europe, blood donation is strictly voluntary. No reimbursement for time or travel is allowed, so the entire burden of donating fell on him. For him, it's an incredible feeling to know that he played a part in saving a life. But it also means he's always on standby, just in case someone somewhere urgently needs the blood only he can give. It raises an interesting question about moral obligation. When does the responsibility to help stop? If your blood is the only match, should you always answer the call, even if you're busy with your own life? Even if you're at your wedding or halfway through a vacation? But for the patient on the other end, that donated blood can mean the difference between life and death. This whole hidden network of rare blood donors reminds us how much hospitals depend on everyday donations, no matter how common or unique the blood type. Blood transfusions have saved countless lives since the very first attempts in the 1800s. In peacetime, they help people survive accidents and surgeries. In wartime, they've kept wounded soldiers alive when it mattered most. During World War II, the American Red Cross sent almost 200,000 pints of blood across the Atlantic to the Allied troops in Europe. On D-Day alone, more than 50,000 pints were needed to help the injured soldiers storming the beaches of Normandy. Moving that much blood to where it's needed takes astonishing coordination. Behind every pint, there's an invisible chain of people and processes, donors giving up an hour of their day, nurses collecting, labs testing, storage centers keeping the blood cold, and transport networks moving it across borders and battlefields. It's a quiet miracle that all of this works as often as it does. Today, the same quiet network still saves lives daily. It doesn't matter if your blood type is O positive, AB negative, or something as rare as Rh-null. There's always a story behind every bag of blood on a hospital shelf. And for people with ultra-rare blood, that story is even more extraordinary. Think of the Swiss donor again. He can't just rely on luck if something happens. He has to plan years ahead, storing his own blood like a safety net. And when someone else's life hangs in the balance, he might get a phone call in the middle of the night asking him to drop everything and help. He can say no, but the reality is very few people would. Imagine knowing you hold the only key to someone surviving the next few hours. For some, it's an honor to be that lifeline. For others, it's a constant, heavy weight. Even if your blood type is far more common, your donation still matters. Every time you give, you're part of that same invisible chain that connects strangers to survival. A car accident, a tricky surgery, a premature baby. None of them have time to wonder where that blood came from or who donated it. They just need it to be there. The science that makes this possible, understanding how our bodies react to antigens, how our immune system spots outsiders, how refrigeration and transport keep blood safe and usable, is a modern triumph we barely think about. But it all depends on people deciding for a few moments to give something away that they'll never see again. Rh-null blood shows the extreme edge of that system, a living reminder that for all our medical advances, sometimes only a few people stand between life and death, and the system is only as strong as the people willing to donate. So whether you're universal donor O negative or the 1 person in 5,000 missing an antigen like Vel, or the 1 in millions with golden blood, there's a simple truth that ties it all together. Our blood may be unique, but the act of giving it connects us all. And somewhere, someday, someone will need what only you can offer.